Hello folks, GWT here. We're drawing that into the opening. Different ways, different folks, different strokes for different folks. Now I got a question. How many of y'all take my message to the big channels and drop links or off in their comment boxes, or if you're on a chat you mention this channel or the concepts or the precepts of this channel, because it's about time that the big celebrity preachers, and there's a lot of them, and ain't none of them giving you the whole truth. None of them. Isn't that's so sad? When are they going to get together and connect the flat earth with the Holy Spirit awakening, a revelation of awakening to the Word? When are the preachers, these big timers, when are they going to say knowledge has been increased, the flat earth is obvious to Christians? It's a message, it's a calling. I saw on someone's video, I think it was The Truth is Stranger Than Fiction, or I got it off of Daniel 12's channel, and the comment or the title or the phrase that I remember was, the flat earth is a catalyst. Well, that's the closest thing that I've heard anybody say to the flat earth being a spiritual, a holy spiritual awakening inside of you. A spiritual awakening, the Holy Spirit, not the demonic spirit. A Holy Spirit or spiritual awakening inside of you. None of them preachers are saying that. I'm not even a preacher. I mean, a lesson or two or a podium here or there, but I don't call myself a preacher. I'm a messenger. And I've told y'all before in my videos, God don't talk to me. God didn't call me to do nothing. Angels don't blow trumpet. I mean, I got no angels hanging around me that I know of. I've had human people hanging around me before that were angelic. There was a shopping lady I had in Oregon in Grants Pass. She was as angelic as a lady can come. But name was Christine. But I'm going to tell y'all something right now, folks. Once the flat earth, the spiritual awakening to the flat earth, once it soaks through your frequency and fluoride thickened skulls, I'm not blaming you, I'm just saying, the fluoride and the frequencies have thickened your skull, that Lucifer is all over you. And Lucifer deceives you to gain your soul. Satan's lot or Lucifer, they will purchase your soul. That's why many actors and actresses are so successful. Musicians, athletes, everything else. Satan will give wealth for your souls. Successful in this life through the worship of false gods. Satan pays people in their human bodies, and these people, or peoples I should say, they do worship Satan. Many of them worship Satan because to these people Satan is real, and he's right here now, alive, in their minds and in their hearts. And God is not alive in your minds. It's not alive in your hearts. Jesus, Jesus, Jesus. With God, it's all about your love for righteousness, for peace, with charitable and caring spirits. And you got to follow God's laws before those of man. Be of goodness now, and either by your nature or by your maturity, by learning what is unknown to you. And then you got to exercise self-discipline when you find out and start taking the word serious. These people that are talking flat earth, flat earth, flat earth, How many of them are telling you that it should be a spiritual awakening to you? That's what the name of the game is, and none of them are talking about it. I just told you the closest thing that anybody said to it is the flat earth is a catalyst. That's the closest that anybody has come to saying it right out. And they're not a big channeler. I mean, they're big, but a lot bigger than me. But they're not what I would consider huge. And the huge preachers, they won't touch it because it's going to mess up their popularity, going to mess up who their friends are. Your success will be later, and your reward of grace will be better after this life, after this physical life. Those others who are bribed in this physical host life, because that's what we are, we're host. Those others that are bribed, they will be getting no rewards afterwards because they won't be needed any longer. Everything that could be gotten out of them is already gotten out of them. They'll discard them as waste. Their soul's the only thing Lucifer wants. And everything that they ever did to anything or anyone else will be done to them. And the scriptures tell us pretty clear, we will reap what we have sown. I guess you folks are familiar enough now with CFR. That's kind of Carnegie Steel and Ford Motor Company and Rockefeller Oil. Well, that's the part of the Illuminati, right there, CFR. People need to go around the cops and get to Congress. One at a time, or while they are in a session. And you need to force Congress to arrest, go right in with guns and arrest and impeach all of the traitors and punish them as the law subscribes for treason. And you're going to have to get the good congressmen and the good senators and the good governors together, and you're going to have to create something to turn this around. The American presidents, almost every one, sold this country out to the Rothschilds and to the Illuminati, same thing. The cops need to back the peoples who have the goods on any politician or government employee. The cops need to back the people when they come up with serious information. Did you know the cops leave government employees alone? Did you know the cops leave them alone because they are above the laws of the people? You and me got laws over us. Then the cops, they're a different level. The laws that apply to us don't apply to the cops. Hardly none of them apply to the cops at all. They can go, whatever they want. And then over top of them, there's a government level that the cops don't mess with. So we're on the bottom, so the cops can mess with us, the government can mess with us, hired mercenaries, gangs, thugs, thieves, the military, foreign troops. We're on the bottom. Everybody gets to mess with us. But the cops only get messed with the government and the other people, and they're part of the same team. They get a paycheck from the same bank. They're above the laws of the people. It's like regular people, and cows and goats and sheep, chickens and babies and rats. They're the first on the bottom. The rich or the popular, the sports, the professionals, they're next. Then the cops and their families, the Masons, the state and the government, the world's most powerful, with the biggest banks and the biggest weapons and the biggest armies. That's the Vatican, the Queen, presidents picked by the Rothschilds. They all got their own staff. The popes, they got their own banks that you help fill, and they got their own armies to make sure that you don't figure out what's happening to you and try to do something about it. Because they got an army that will flat just stop you cold. You've got to start at the top. You've got to start anywhere you can. And I'm telling you right now, you get the goods on somebody, you need to let plenty of witnesses know about it before they got a chance to silence you, because they will draw you out into the open in any way they can and silence you. Maybe even use a drone on you. Drones, I'm going to tell you, I'm going to tell you something about drones here too, and drone operators. Like all the stores of war, they're all full of new toys of death. And there ain't no war going on for them to test all of their stuff on. All poo. They did the 9/11 job to break out their unnamed death machines. The machines and the drones, and the Air Force is using your money to buy more drones than airplanes. The Air Force is buying more drones than airplanes, and they're using your money. They don't have our money. You pay them and pay for their toys. The machines will find and kill you when your time comes. Robots flying around over your heads. Everything around you is tracking you and reading you everywhere you go. Street lights, signs, cell towers, drones in the sky, video cameras, everywhere you go. They got cameras set up on mountaintops that you can't even see from highways and intersections, but they can see you. Thousands of megapixels. Pull you right on up there, baby. Let me tell y'all something. Drone operators are recruited from computer game parks, from the robot wars, and game and paintball competitions. Some of the gamers who love the rush of the aggressive action, they sit comfortable now these days and play with real lives. And if Langley wants a hut or a herd of goats, or a farmer planting seeds or drawing water out of a well or a pool, if Langley deems that one right there as being a bad guy, if Langley says that they are a danger to the U.S. and to the UN, then the ones on the joysticks get ordered, and then all of the joystick champs, they have at these people. Have you ever thought, now I'm going to ask you this, let me ask you this, have you any thought in your head, have you ever thought about drones? You ever really thought about drones? We're talking about a sneak machine and some deranged, criminally minded monster whose hands on the joystick, and when they blow up women and children and unarmed people and people riding. Folks, let me tell you something. Have you ever thought about it? You ever thought about it? Have you any thought on drones in the air above your home and over your house, as you shower or as you eat a meal, or you're outside cutting your grass, or you're planting an organic garden, or you're asleep and you got drones that can look right through the walls and the roofs of your house and right through your bedspread and your covers and your clothes, and they can look at anything they want to. Maybe while you are being with your spouse, think about the drone. Think about them watching you and recording you. It hovers across from your window. You hear a little hum or you hear something, and most of you ain't even listening for it. You don't care. You hear something, ain't nothing. But for some, you go to your windows and you look out and there's one perched, hovering in the air, just right across from your window. Any person building, any person or a building or an automobile or a person with a bag, a box or a backpack, or pushing a wheelbarrow or riding a bicycle. If you look like a threat, or you dance a little jig under the government's cameras, you could be shot or blown to pieces and not even hear it coming until it's in your immediate space. You're out for a walk. You're sitting on a park bench. You don't think nobody gets killed on a park bench? Your Congress, your senators, your governors, they have these drones up over top of your head. They're the ones that voted them in. They're the ones that voted to give the funding to the people to build them. And then put them up in the sky over top of your heads. And they're watching every move that you make. If it moves, they're seeing it. I'm going to tell you right now. You need to take and really give it some thought, folks. You need to really consider these drones over top of your head. You have no idea, and you don't care to have any ideas about what these drones do to life. How destructive they are. People sitting 5,000 miles away, 10,000 maybe, operating a joystick, killing families. If they're seeing a move, they put these drones looking over cities, and that whole city all day long, no one moves in the streets. Anybody moving in the street, the crosshairs come right in on you just like that. You're blown right up. You're analyzed by a bunch of perverts who love to kill. These drones are in the sky to protect the ones who put them there. Those drones are in the sky to protect the ones who put them up in the sky. You understand. You awake, you come out into the opening, they'll draw you out in the opening and they'll find you with a drone and take you out. This is what's going on in other countries. And you got them over your head right now. The same ones are over your head right here that's in other countries, whacking the heck out of people. How can you live with that? How can you not be ticked off? You got a big bullseye on you, and when they get ready, they'll illuminate it, and they will blow your body to pieces. Do you know these drone operators tell people when they are supposed to do a count, a body count, they can't count the bodies half the time because the bodies are in too many pieces. That's not funny at all. And you gung-hos, I'm born to kill. You ain't got no soul in your body. And if you think you're born to kill, if I had a chance, I'd kill you myself just because you're a killing, murdering piece of shit. You people that are awakening, I'm telling you right now, they're going to be using drones on all the people that are trying to hide, stay low, and all that kind of stuff. You folks better pay attention to what I'm telling you. These drones are up there for a reason. They built them bunkers in the ground for a reason. They know the people are going to wake up and find out about them. They're going to wake up and find out about the fluoride and the chemtrails in large numbers. And they're going to know that they can't get any water that ain't tainted by the government. That's what the government does when it goes to these other countries. It destroys their water source. They destroy the supply lines to the cities and to the towns. They render everybody helpless. They come in your homes just like, look, the mercenaries, the United Nations in this country is already running around disarming whole entire cities and towns, and you folks don't know a damn thing about it. And you're not going to believe me because I'm a little shit and I'm nobody. So you're not going to take my word for it. You can run out here and take the words of these people who got 150, 300,000 subscribers. They must not ever give anybody any wrong dates or information about anything. They are built up by the government. Anybody out here today who's laying down all truth, they're not going to have a whole bunch of followers. They're not going to have a whole bunch of subscribers. It just ain't going to happen. I've never seen anybody that I thought was laying down that much truth who had that big of a following. But these people that are posting up stuff, oh, NASA's the greatest thing. Oh, since sliced bread. Oh, our government's doing what? Oh, yeah, we've got to invade them countries because they're going to come and get us. Eventually, 100 years from now, we're going to be sorry if we don't go kill them all right now and make their shit our shit. That's what's going on. Bunch of greedy, evil MFers. And they're coming after everything that they can lay their hands on. And they got a bunch of real crazy people in uniforms they're kill freaks. They're power tripping. Y'all ain't taking nothing serious, are you? I'm just a friggin' joke, right? For some of you who are coming to realize that this stuff's going on, and some of you that has already realized it, long since realized it, I know there's a lot of y'all that's pissed off, and I wish that y'all had lots and lots of friends with you that was equally as pissed off as I'm sure some of you people are. Because everybody out there ain't happy in their space. Everybody out there ain't comfortable in their state of delusion. There's going to eventually be areas of civil war in the United States. Let me tell you this while I'm thinking about it, folks. The third civil war of this country, and I say the third civil war, of 1776, 1812, and 1850. What was that Civil War? The 5-year Civil War. That was, darn. Isn't that something that's just slipped my mind just like that? Thank you very much. The frequencies are on me hard enough right now, I can tell you that. 1860 to 1865. And I'm going to tell you right now, do you know that less than 5%, or I can say, to be conservative, less than 6% of all the what is now the United States, less than 6% of America took any part in that 5-year Civil War. And now they control all the media. They got drones in the sky. Paul Revere can't get through no more. Let me tell you folks something. Y'all better take my damn videos serious. If you're not close to these towns that have been disarmed, if you don't have kin in that town, or somebody isn't able, they intimidate these people so bad when they go into them towns. I mean, what do? You see a bunch of army guys and tanks, armored vehicles, SWAT teams and stuff, sheriff's department, you see all that stuff coming down your street, and what do? I'm so scared. That's what you do. You'll give them anything. You'll turn your butthole up to them. That's because Americans, for the majority of them, they've turned you into a bunch of wusses. They've turned you into a bunch of little Larry Limp Wrist. I'd rather lay with him than to lay with her. You're a bunch of sad sacks, and y'all are just eating it up. Wait till they start killing you. You say, oh Darren, I learned to suck a penis so I could fit in, and now they're killing us anyway. That's what they do. They exercise what I'm going to term as a keep. A keep. There was a movie I saw one time, and the name of it was The Keep. Real good movie. But these towns that they disarm, they've exercised a keep over those towns. Folks, let me tell you something. They've taken stuff out with their tectonic weapons, and you folks you're none the wiser. You know nothing about it, and I'm not going to expect you to believe a babbling old fool. I ain't going to expect you to believe me, but a whole bunch of you know. And that's a fact. Everybody out there ain't completely blinded by the chemtrails and the fluoride and all of that stuff. You don't know the threats and the secrecy about the government and how they repeatedly use the same procedures to deal with open areas or with forest. They use forest fires, private properties, private lands with inhabitants. Many destroyed by mercenaries, forest fires, drones, and those tectonic weapons used on people, like the pictures in many of my videos clearly show you. You think them great big blue balls coming down out of the sky, what do you think that's a new kind of snow or something or another? When you are going to start listening and take me serious is when something real big is going to happen in your ear or right in front of your eyes. And then guess what? Your mind is going to scramble. and you're still not going to be able to reason anything, to think anything out. You're still going to be a little lost puppy. You got to start getting your mind straight. You got to start being able to discern who's the good guys and who's the bad guys, and you need to start working on that. You can't keep running out to them clubs and dancing and drinking and going to the games and the races and everything else. You can't continue to do that with all of your free time. That's why I encourage people to read the Bible. The Bible is a living word. It will open itself up to you if you apply yourself just even a little bit to it. But you can't read it while you're chewing gum and smoking a joint, drinking a beer, listening to a football game, and talking to somebody on the telephone. You got to focus on the Word if you're going to read it. I suggest to you folks, those of you who are readers, who like to read, who's never read the Bible, get one, borrow one, and read it like you would any other book. Read it like you would any other book, and see what happens. Nothing happens? Sorry, but I got a feeling something's going to happen to almost everybody that reads it, that earnestly reads it. These drone operators, folks, they do a follow-up. They do a second hit. What they do is they hit a place, and after they hit a place, they watch, and when the people come in to rescue, to try to help somebody who's blown in half or still alive or something, they wait until the rescuers get in, till the help gathers around the site of destruction. I mean, they're stepping over on stuff, and it's like any big natural disaster area, except worse. It's blown up. A concussion just tore everything to pieces in a blast. After the people get in and they're trying to pull people out or looking for survivors, they hit it again and blow the rescuers up. That's what our friggin' military does. That's what Langley does. That's what our government, that's what the CIA does. You folks better start paying attention. You better start paying attention to the military moving around you, and I'm going to tell you right now, the ones of you who are out there taking action, and I know some of you are, I tip my hat to you, because y'all are doing something, and some of you are taking some good action too. Appreciate that from y'all. It's about time people in this country started coming up and being Robin Hoods, and this country needs its own mercenaries. Those things that Charlie Bronson used to play in those movies, the vigilante movies. This country needs thousands of vigilantes, and you need to know your stuff and plan your moves and go away from your domicile, get away from your home and do your thing, and then get your butt back home. It'll catch on. Got to start somewhere. But the media is going to cover up every strike. They will not let it out of the bag, because that will entice and get other people to start standing up for what they are thinking is right. You won't do anything. You just keep taking it. You keep melting down. They're dissolving the spirit right out of your body. That's what they're after. They are breaking your spirit, and y'all don't have any conscience about your spirit being broke. I mean, you know, you miss a center shot, you miss a center court shot. I mean, that's one letdown. You wreck your car by accident or something, that's a letdown. Your dog gets run over, that's a big letdown. But folks, y'all don't realize, these people are after your soul. And your body right now is a temporary host for your soul. And they want your soul, which means your next step away from this life right here is going to be forward or backward. You let Lucifer supply you with stuff now, and you eat it up, and you fit into all of those programs and everything, all of that evil stuff, all of that abomination stuff. You fit into that now. And later on, you're not going to have a gravy train for doing that now. The Christians, the Bible says the only ones who will be rewarded later are the ones who diligently seek God, who really put forth effort, who really try. Whether you fall short of the mark or not, you got to try. Your attitude, your heart's got to want to try. You have to be sick and tired of what's going on. You've got to be, you look up in the sky at the chemtrails this very morning, the Sabbath day. I look up in the sky and what do I see? I see a blue sky being streaked and X'd and covered up with chemtrails. My friend told me a while ago it looks like, from when he saw the sky this morning, it looks like a blanket has been pulled over top of the ones looking up at the sky. It's no longer the sky that it was this morning. In an hour and a half or 2 hours, it's completely full of chemtrails. I mean, they were streaked in the sky. You could look up and see them. I mean, it was streaked just like I opened my fingers up and make 4 chemtrail streaks. Y'all can't keep putting up with it. You don't know what to do. You don't know who to complain to. I'm telling you right now, you need to select people among you who has a voice, who has a public voice, and you need to get to them with your evidence about these chemtrails, and then they need to do something with it. Congress and the big people who okay these budgets and make these laws and let these people kill the citizens of this country, if you don't do something about those bought out treasonous, them treasonous and golly day folks, they are against you and everything that the country is. Everything. It's a big military takeover. Oh, as long as we do what the military says and walk how they want us to walk and do what they want us to do, we'll be okay. But that's not true. They're going to eliminate people down, till they get to the ones who's been kissing their butts, and then they're going to start taking them out too, because you're going to be the ones on the bottom. Sooner or later. You can't keep rubbing shoulders with evil without something happening. And if you think you're going to play evil, if you think you're going to ride the fence on evil and make that last moment decision on which way you're going to go, it ain't going to work like that for you. When your brain gets scrambled, when you can no longer process thought or think, whatever state of being you were in up to that point, that's it for you. You're out of the game. You're done. I have one more thing to say. When the drones finally pulled back, they quit hitting their targets, and then they quit hitting the rescuers. That's like blowing up ambulances in America. The people will finally gather their dead. They like to bury their dead as quick as they can. They will gather the dead, and then when they go to the funeral service, the friggin' drones will go back and hit the whole damn funeral service. That's what your government is doing across the earth. And in moderation, they're already doing it in the United States. And pretty soon, it's going to get real. And it's already real for the ones who've gone, that y'all don't know about. That's why I show you the pictures that I do. Because you'll say, how was that picture made? It wasn't photoshopped. What does that look like? That looks like a meteor, half as big as a mountain, or a asteroid. We don't have those things under the dome. That's BS, folks. You need to pay attention now. We live on a flat earth, and we got a dome over top of us to protect us. Ain't nothing getting in and ain't nothing getting out, folks. All that crap they're doing it right here under the dome, on one side or the other of the ice wall. I call it an ice wall for lack of a better term. What we call the South Pole, it kind of circles the continents in the middle. That's what I really believe. There's just too many maps that surfaced, old maps. And some of them, when you see them, a light comes on in your head. And that's what happened when I saw one of those maps. These people out here that are putting out all these videos about the flat earth, giving you all of these characteristics of a flat earth versus characteristics of a round ball, things that won't work, things that don't compute. These people are staying away from the flat earth awakening, the spiritual awakening. And until they get together, a friend told me, he said, oh yeah, somebody will remember you, 5 years from now and say, yeah, he's the first one I started saying that, or I heard him talking about that 5 years ago. I wonder why it took so long to catch on. Well, they're going to cover up Christianity. They're going to rule Christianity out. That last video that I posted, it's about 2 hours long or something like that. That video's got a lot of really good information in it, folks. If y'all are going to get to the bottom of things and understand the truth of things, you have to apply yourself. You've got to sit down and you've got to get yourself to watch these videos and be coherent. Think about what you're watching and what you're hearing. Don't be distracted away. If you're not going to try to get out of the video what's in the video, then you need to take a break. Get up and leave it. Go away. If you don't apply yourself, you're not going to pick that information up. So that means sitting and watching a 2 or 3 hour video. That's what you need to discipline yourself to do. Nobody wants to watch them all the way through, and a lot of them have really good, strong information all the way through. If I post it on my channel, I post a couple of things that are supposed to be humorous, but if I post it on my channel, it's because I think it's worth you seeing. And I'm kind of thinking about you. I want you to see it so you can discern for yourself. Get out of it what you can, or I'm not doing it for me. That's what I'm saying. I'm not interested in doing it for me. I want to throw these things out there to y'all, and I'm telling you right now, this government is going to do really bad things. And the cops are going to be backing the government up because the people cannot figure out an angle to get the cops to work for them. And the few cops who are becoming Christians, who are starting to see some light about this flat earth, I mean, what do you think about a cop being a cop for 10 years or 5 years or 20 years or 25 years, and then all of a sudden, what? We live on a flat earth? Who told you that? Folks, I'm sure that can happen. But the videos that I've seen, when people are talking about stars or planets, or they're talking about something or another, the cops ain't paying no attention to what you're talking about. That's like total Greek to them. And then they ain't got no way to check it out if they want to. They're watched. They can't go on YouTube and start doing research. That's a no-no for them to do. I've heard that they are not supposed to. That's one of their rules. Don't go after the intermediate media, the truthers. They want to keep people the way they are, controlled and confused. You'll give in. If you don't know the answer to a situation, you're going to go along with whoever has the loudest voice or the biggest friggin' gun. I'm going to mention this one more time, and I want y'all to let it soak into your thick skulls. These drones are taking out people in the middle of prayer meetings, people at funerals. And I'm telling you right now, they're over your heads, and they're never going away unless you do something about it.